a director and they want to give a contract to my brother, I become an interested director. These aspects maybe you could have just touched upon a little bit. Audit committee, of course. Today, it's very clear for those categories of large companies, there is tremendous pressure on the audit committee. And today, if you notice, the law has created a very nice layer for these large companies. You have the shareholders, you have the board, you have multiple committees under the board, and then there is the operating management, which is the senior management, and then you have the operating management. By creating this kind of a pyramid structure, they want to ensure a stronger system of checks and balances. And today, audit committees have become even more important because of this concept of internal controls over financial reporting. The other thing that is very relevant today is this concept of, previously if you're on the board of a non-listed company, there was no responsibility statement you had to sign. Today, every director of any company has to sign a director's responsibility statement, which basically talks about 5 things. That accounting standards have been followed. 2 interesting developments, I will not go through the old ones, are 1, the directors have to certify that internal controls are operating effectively. This is a new provision. This was not there in the old act. The second important change in the director's responsibility statement is, it actually reads like this: the directors have devised proper systems and procedures to ensure compliance with all laws prevailing. This is the exact statement, which means today, as a director of a company, I'm supposed to say that my client, that the company has 100% statutory compliance. And apparently a manufacturing company in India has about 88 laws that they have to comply with. It starts with, let's say, Boilers Act, Factories Act, Pollution Control License, E-Waste Disposal Rules, PF, ESI, Gratuity, VAT, GST, the entire bunch. So just see the amount of responsibility that's being cast upon the board and the audit committee. These are few new developments in the BOD thing. For example, independent directors. Until the 2013 Act came, only listed companies under the Clause 49 listing agreement had to have independent directors. That's another very unique thing about this Act. I told you 3 things in my opening speech. The 4th is that this law is trying to be a law to consolidate and one place enshrinement. See, I'll give you 3 outstanding examples on how this law is becoming like a master octopus. For example, independent directors was there only for listed companies, so they pulled it into the Companies Act. Similarly, you must have heard of this depreciation, component depreciation. How many of you have heard about component depreciation? If you have a windmill, you don't capitalize the windmill as such. The mast gets capitalized separately because it is a separate useful life. I'm very surprised. You've not heard of componenting? People who've written final? Schedule 2, depreciation? Boss, I need an yes or a no. Okay, and some of your inputs will also go to change our education system. Yeah, so for example, componenting, they've picked it up here. Previously, there was no rule that an auditor should not perform other services. Correct? Before this Companies Act came, we only had Code of Ethics. Code of Ethics said statutory auditor cannot be the internal auditor. It can't be the same person. And secondly, for certain categories of companies, my statutory audit bill should not be less than my other bills. Meaning my fee from statutory audit should be more than my other fees. However, the Companies Act has changed this. It has brought this concept of restricted services into the Act itself. Why did it happen? Because they found that in this law looks at every management as a scamster and every auditor as an abettor. So this law has turned also very, very draconian for chartered accountants. For example, for the first time in this Act, you have the power to reopen books, which was never there. You have 2 sections, 130 and 131, that says once the books are signed, audited and closed, In income tax, your officer can actually ask you to reopen the books, or the board by themselves can reopen their books. So have you ever heard of a balance sheet getting opened and signed again? I only know those cases which came in the headlines of the Hindu. So it was never done previously, it's come now. So this landscape has changed fairly dramatically. And in terms of the third speaker, I thought she was very clear. She spoke on opportunities for chartered accountants emerging from the Companies Act 2013. I liked her coverage. It was very, very, very exhaustive. Here again, I think I should add you in on something that's the latest. Does anybody know now how many sections in the Companies Act are not notified? Any guesses? Out of 470 sections? No? No? 98 was the first notification. Okay, some more numbers here. Huh? Only 9 are not notified. See, it's such a difficult act, they kept on notifying it in parts. So we used to track it in terms of the notified sections. But this June and this December, they notified a huge amount of sections. And at the end of it all, only 9 sections are not completely notified. And a few sections, there's a partial notification. Now, what is even more interesting is that 39 non-notified sections of this act have been omitted. Can somebody tell me why it's got omitted? You get a personal prize from me if you say this. Because there is a new law called Dash which has come. Who said that? Sir, Ninga Romba Senior. Ningala. Not part of the prize. First law, who was that? Your name? Can't hear. Sindhuja. Please give a big applause to Sindhuja. See, now India has a new law. It's called the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. Now, after this law came, you remember there was an old act called SICA. This again could be very relevant for people writing the next couple of attempts, because only 9 sections are not notified, so you're going to learn the new law, which is a smaller law. And once this Insolvency Code came, certain sections of the Companies Act have got omitted. Voluntary winding up has now moved to the Insolvency Code. Similarly, there was the segment on revival and rehabilitation of sick companies. Do we remember this? Yes. And the corresponding provisions were there in the Sick Industrial Companies Special Provisions Act. What is the year? 1985. See, we had a very old Sick Industrial Companies Act. Now, that act was supposed to be repealed, and they made a repeal act in 2003. But because of some issues, the Repeal Act got notified only now. So, this entire revival and rehabilitation of sick companies, that chapter itself is standing omitted in the new Companies Act. And whoever companies had gone to SICA for a reference will now have to move their proceedings under this new code to the National Company Law Tribunal. So this is a latest development, and IBC by itself is a huge professional opportunity for chartered accountants. See, previously, what did we used to do? I believe I have some time, so I'll let you in on something new. IBC could well become part of your syllabus in the future, not near though. This IBC basically says, India never had a formal debt resolution mechanism, correct? If somebody is owing somebody any money, we had to go to a court, or we could go under surface sea. So this act says that we will provide for a proper debt resolution mechanism. So let's say I am a banker and XYZ has to pay me money, XYZ Limited. I can go to the NCLT and make a reference. Now when I make a reference, this act, the new act basically says, you have to come along with a chartered accountant who you will call as an insolvency professional. It could be a chartered accountant, a cost accountant, a company secretary, or certain people who have written this exam. So what happens? You sit there and you resolve the debt for a client. Now, I'll tell you, I'll just take 30 seconds. This could be relevant to you again. These are the lines of the report that brought the new law. It says a limited liability company is a contract between equity and debt. When debt obligations are met, which means when the debt is getting repaid, equity owners will run the company. When there is a failure in meeting my debt obligations, then the creditors will take over the company. And the equity owners have no say. So this is famously called as from debtor in possession to creditor in control. So virtually what happens once the NCLT admits, let's say Indian Bank is filing an application, once they admit it, they will say, okay, Mr. Babu Tevar is appointed as the insolvency professional. He will start running the company from next day until the debt resolution plan is given. So ladies and gentlemen, I think more than, there is one part which is the Companies Act, but as an attendant, this IBC is going to throw out a huge professional opportunity for most practicing professionals. So I'd like to, sort of summarize whatever I said. Great act coming, very draconian. Client will need our, support to actually be able to meet the requirements of this law, especially because the penalties are so huge. For example, LLP, if you don't file your return, such a huge penalty. So it's better to be safe than sorry. I'd like to, and I'd like to end this with just another minute. What's most important is to stay connected professionally. But what's even more important, I'm sure it's only a matter of time, give it maybe a year or a year and a half, and I think I'm sitting in front of an auditorium that's fully filled with chartered accountants. Yes or no? Yes. So what's important is to stay ethical. So whether it's the Companies Act or fraud, I think there's a very nice story that I'd like to, tell you. The story from the Rig Veda. So apparently it was very olden times. People had no work to do. It was only the Devas and the Asuras, and they used to keep fighting. So Monday through Saturday they would fight, and Sunday was break day. Monday they will start again. Monday morning the fixtures would get announced. This particular Monday, it was Shiva versus the Asuras. But Indra was very unhappy. He said, I don't want Shiva to win, so he's wondering what to do. And there's one kutti termite that walks. What do you call for a termite? In Tamil it's called karayan. In other languages, I don't know, it's a white ant that bites your wood. So he called this little termite and says, hey, you have to help me. I want to defeat Shiva. So the termite looks very amused. He says, what do you mean? I thought you were best buddies, same team. This is like match fixing. He says, no, you have to help me to beat him. He's becoming very popular. So termite says, okay, how can I help you? I'm so small, you can just crush me. He says, no, very simple. When Shiva is stringing his bow, you go and bite off the string. Then what will happen? Can Shiva fire his arrow? If the string breaks, can you fire an arrow? No. What? Yeah. Pre-lunch. No. So, after the termite says, okay, I'll think about it. Goes for a walk and comes back. And apparently in Sanskrit it asks, Kha Dakshina, which means what will you pay me? So, Indra is getting really psyched. He says, oh, what is this? I'm making a mistake. So he says, okay, they have a long argument. And then finally he says, okay, termite, till there is wood and water on this earth, you will be there. And as a tribe, you will be immortal. Which is why when you do pest control in your house and you send it to your neighbor, after 4 years they come back. They're immortal. This, young ladies and gentlemen, is supposed to be the story of evolution of corruption. Until there is wood and water on this earth, there will be corruption. Nobody can do anything about it. Which means until there is wood and water on this earth, there will also be chartered accountants to certify financial statements. So look at it this way, when you go to a doctor and he tells you there's something wrong, or when you go to a lawyer, and Aparna ma'am must excuse me for this, you always go for a second opinion. So, in fact, apparently lawyers, this is a very authentic report, lawyers wanted to do GST audit. But apparently Mr. Mitra, who's heading the meeting, said, you yourselves are under reverse charge mechanism because you can't maintain books. So the day when you start maintaining books, we will give you audit. This came to me from somebody very authentic. So, and you know something, you have this little book, no Code of Ethics. In life, they'll keep on talking about professional ethics here. Just forget it. There's no such thing as professional ethics. All ethics is personal. It is between your head and your heart, and you have to do what you think is right, not just right for you, but for the society at large. And with these few words, and wishing you all the very, very, very best in life, I'd like to take your leave, and let's stay in touch. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now we have the lucky tip. I request the Sikasa chairman, CA Babu K. Deva, to pick up the chit. Please, sir.
Mayur Kumar, SOR number 0452099. Is there? Where? No, I don't know why gallery people only getting prizes. Yeah, Mayur Kumar. So, on demand of the students, one more we'll take. We'll see who is that. Yadalapalli Preeti Ratna, SOR number 446639. Now I'll see gallery only instead of down. Is there? She is there? No. Come. Madam, give to. Once again, I'll repeat. Yadalapalli Preeti Ratna, SOR number 0446639. Okay. So it passed to other. Your name only, Pooja R. No, previous. Huh?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, speakers.
I take an immense pleasure to thank our session chairman, CA Sripriya ma'am, for spending her valuable time with us. Ma'am, your comparison of Companies Act with Arthashastra was really wonderful. I also would like to convey my heartiest wishes and thanks to our eminent student speakers for providing useful insights into the Companies Act. Thank you.
Very good afternoon to all of you. How to face CA examination. It's a nice time to talk about CA examination. Already final student got the result. IPCC waiting for the result even though you know the result. As soon as you join the course, the moment you join the CA course, whoever is going to ask you, what are you doing? If you are going to say, I am doing CA, the immediate reaction, Ayyo Pavam. As if you are untouchable. Everybody used to say, CA course is a difficult course, no? What is CA stands for, they may not aware. But immediate reaction, CA means difficult course. After hearing this, it's environmental pollution in everywhere. CA means difficult. CA stands for comes again. Yes, CA stands for come again only. But you have to come again and again after clearing CPT. You have to come again once again for what? CA IPCC. After clearing CA IPCC, you have to come again once for orientation program or ITT program or GMCS 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 5 also pending it seems. After that, you have to come again for CA final examination. That's why CA stands for comes again only. You have to come again and again, even after clearing the examination CPE program, as a speaker, as a what faculty or speaker, you have to come again and again for the CA course, CA Institute. It's an environmental pollution in everywhere. CA means very difficult. Passing CA examination is a little difficult task. But at the same time, what could be the reason for more failure? The first reason began more failure in CA course. There is no monitoring authority. As soon as you join the CA course, unlike in school days, there is no monitoring authority. Your parents are thinking, waking up early in the morning, going to the class, and what joining articleship form, morning to evening, as if you are studying or preparing for the examination. And you know very well how you are utilizing the class or how you are utilizing the office hours. Mere coming to the class or doing the articleship alone is not going to make you the result. Your sincere effort, hard work, your consistent effort only make you to clear the examination. To clear the examination, two important things are there. One is understanding the subject, conceptual clarity. Without having conceptual clarity, mere mugging the formula or format, or morning to evening, keep on you are going to study, and vomiting the answer in the examination will not make you to clear the examination. You should have the conceptual clarity, especially for the final. Mere studying the book alone will not help you to clear the exam. You need the practical experience also. In examination, in general, students are performing well. But in spite of that, why students unable to clear the examination? Even if you are going to take group 1 paper, group 1 accounts 40 marks, pass or fail? Doubt. 40 mark pass or fail? Pass. Next, law paper 45, pass or fail? CFM, costing and financial management, 50, pass or fail? Taxation, 45. Taxation, pass or fail? Group 1, 4 pass, still fail. Why? That is called CA exam. Paper 1 pass, paper 2 pass, paper 3 and paper 4 individually pass, as a group, as a whole you fail. The reason, aggregate problem. Students are writing the correct answer. Unfortunately, values are expecting the correct answer. Correct answer means pass. All the 4 paper pass. Correct answer only make you to clear the examination. Nowadays, students not even listening the question. They are writing the answer, and whatever the answer they know, they vomiting the answer. After referring the suggested answer, all the answers are correct, sir. It should made me fail. Your answers are correct, but question wrong, no? You have to write the answer for the question. Here, how many final students are there? How many of them final student? Not visible here and here. Okay. Can you please tell me what are all the stages in product life cycle? Any one student? Stages in product life cycle. Louder, right only. Stages in product life cycle. Final dane? Louder. Choice question. Attempt to choice. What are all the various stages in product life cycle? Such a simplest question. Introduction. Maturity. Repeat once again. That's the main reason for failure. That is called phases in product life cycle. This is the manner of writing the answer. We are listening the question product life cycle. Whatever the answer we know, we are omitting. Understood logic or not? There are 11 stages are there in product life cycle. 4 phases are there in product life cycle. Whenever question comes product life cycle, we are not bothering about whether stages or phases. Mere understanding the subject alone is not important. How we are going to present, that is also equally important. Nowadays, students not even listening the question, whatever they know, they want to vomit. In examination, we are valuing the paper purely based on valid points. How many valid points are there? Accordingly, specific question, specific answer we need. If you are going to vomit what and all you know, you may not be the person to get any mark. Unlike other papers, unlike other system, we are not going to value the paper based on number of pages you wrote the answer or how many kgs of the paper you have submitted. Accordingly, mark won't be allotted. Whether valid answer is there or not, accordingly the valuation will be there. Both IPC and the final student, can you please tell me, what about the significance of break-even point? What are all the significance of BEP? What is BEP? What about the significance of break-even point? No profit? Good. Next. Contribution is equal to fixed cost. Next. Very good. These are all explanation with respect to BEP. It's the simplest question in the world. Significance of BEP 3-mark question, even final once they asked. All the students, 100% of the students wrote the answer, but 97% of the students are got 0 mark because few of them wrote what is called the BEP, few of them wrote chart for the BEP, few of them wrote what all the formulas are there for BEP, few of them wrote other than what and all there in BEP. But the requirement of the question, significance of BEP is not there. As a valuer, we are not going to read top to bottom what all the answers are there in your answer sheet. In that answer sheet, we are going to value based on the answer key provided by the ICAI. In that answer key, significance of BEP, level of sales less than BEP, guaranteed loss, 1 mark. Level of sales is equal to BEP, no profit, no loss, for that 1 mark. Level of sales more than BEP means guaranteed profit, 1 mark. Clear? Therefore, the 3 points are there mean 3 marks. Other than that, everything are writing because as soon as you read the question, significance of BEP, what and all you know about BEP are ready to vomit. That's why mere understanding alone is not the criteria to clear the exam. There are 2 important things are there to clear the exam. One is conceptual clarity. There is no doubt every student, when compared to all other professions, proudly we can say our CA students having the conceptual clarity. Nowadays they are purchasing the concept, they are purchasing the knowledge by way of attending the classes. In general, CA students are very clever. Yes or no? In general only. In general, CA students are very clever. Whether you are having knowledge over the subject or not, in general you may not. Whether you are having knowledge over the subject or not, you can be in the position to smell whether the faculty is having the knowledge over the subject or not. The 5 minutes delivery of the faculty is more than sufficient. Break. Clear? So you can be the position to smell the knowledge of the faculty. In spite of that, why students are not in the position to get the good mark? Because they don't know how to present the answer in the examination. We are having conceptual clarity, but we don't know how to deliver the concept. There are 2 important things are that to clear the exam. One is conceptual understanding, another one is what and all